This is John C. Reilly. I'm in this movie, Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what? I'm in every movie ever made. You should really support the independent podcasters of the world, like Mike Matthews and Mike's Daily Podcast. Those big podcasters, they got too much money and I hate them. So support independent podcasters. And now, Mike's Daily Podcast. I think I'll go make another movie now.
This show is clean, pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 845. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, California. Today it's the return of the much-loved feature WOW SCHATZ WOW, where we hear some fascinating news stories, plus we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the Engineer, and mutant rain frogs. Yes, they exist. We find out more and run for cover. Mike's Daily Podcast. On a steel-enforced lily pad. Make sure to say hi to your mother. Mike's Daily Podcast. So the computer I do this podcast on seems to be nearing its last song. It is going to need a massive overhaul, and an SSD hard drive might be vastly more strong since they don't rely on clunky discs that are bygone. Mike's Daily Podcast. I believe this was something that I previously mentioned on Mike's a show daily 3 years ago. Podcast. So there you go. Yeah! The lifespan of a Mike's Daily Podcast computer. It's not very long. Oh, look, I just walked in. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, the gift shop supervisor. Oh my God, Mike Matthews, Baz the Boxer looks like so happy. Yeah, he's much happier. He's got a lot of energy. I walked him a couple blocks yesterday, and it looks like that paw is healing. I'm so happy. That's great, Mike Matthews. I hated to see him so sad and to hear all those horrible jokes you made about his collar. Oh, I got a new one. So basically that cone on his head makes him like a dog speaker. Okay, that's not even funny. It's like a dog horn instead of a bullhorn, a dog horn. Okay, like, shut up. Look who else just walked in. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere the Engineer. Wow, your voice got really loud and distorted. I know, Mike. Why did that happen? I don't know, the mic's a little loud. We should turn it down, because when you talk, it is so loud. I know. Oh, well, okay. I guess I'm going to have to not talk so loudly. I don't want to destroy your microphones. John Deere, you blew up my microphone. Oh, no, he's not. I can't hear you. You need a microphone. Here, I found another one. Oh, that's much better. Okay, good. Anyways, now that we wasted all that time talking about technical crap, but that's the fun. Everybody thinks, hey, I can do a podcast. And I want everyone to think, hey, I can do a podcast. But it takes some time. You need some stuff. You need to work out equipment. You can't say, all the time. God. I've heard some podcasts, because like I say, like John C. Reilly said at the beginning of the podcast, you should really help support the independent podcasters. But unfortunately, a lot of independent podcasters that, let's say, have no radio background or acting background or whatever, indulge in the word a little much. But anyway, a couple here at Cafe Anyway, Catherine Krynak from the Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland and Tim Krynak from Cleveland Metro Parks have discovered a rare species of shape-shifting frog with uncommon ability to also change its skin texture to either spiny or smooth within minutes. This according to the standarddaily.com. Wow, we've heard a lot of interesting, strange reptiles lately. A recent show we found out about a salamander that lived many, many years ago that looked like it had a toilet head with teeth. Named the mutant rain frog and found in the Reserva Las or misty Chaco cloud forest of the Andes Mountains in Ecuador, the fingernail-sized frog was discovered when the couple scientists were walking through the protected forest reserve one night, listening for the calls of rare frogs and other amphibians. Then, in 2006, they found the mutable rain frog, which they called a punk rocker, unknown to them that it was a newfound species. They just took its photograph and let it go. It wasn't until we saw the amazing texture of its skin that we thought, wow, this is something different, said Catherine Krynak. After discovering the tiny creature had remarkable abilities to change its skin texture to either spiny or smooth, but in 2009, Juan Guayasamín, lead author of the study and the author of the Universidad Tecnológica Indoamérica in Ecuador, suggested to the couple that the mutable rain frog may turn out, and not the mutant rain frog, as maybe I had identified it at the beginning of the show, may turn out to be a new species that had never been discovered before. Then, after searching through the snowy forest one night again, the Krynaks picked up a punk rocker, frog, which they kept in a cup overnight. Yes, very high-tech receiving equipment. A cup, after taking extensive pictures of the amphibian. By the next day, all its spines were disappeared, leaving only shiny skin texture. And thinking they had picked the wrong kind of frog, they put some leaves in the cup and awaited till evening to return the thing to the forest again. But when they opened the cup again, all the frog's spines were back, to the surprise of the scientists. The female is like 0.9 inches long, and the male rain frog is much smaller than the female. It does not pass through the tadpole stage. It grows directly into an adult frog from eggs. Isn't that crazy, John Deere?
Well, Mike, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, all animals in nature have to find some way to defend themselves. Wow, I didn't destroy this microphone.
Good. Thank you. Yay, you didn't destroy the microphone. Because we, have none left if you do that. So what do you think about those type of frogs? What do you think about doing podcasts? What do you think about dogs that are healing and have to wear cones on their heads during their convalescing? Do you have a funny name for them? That's cruel and funny. Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. We read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And there's the website, mikesdailypodcast.com, with links to where to find this show in iTunes. You can subscribe to this show there, and you can comment on the show, rate the show. If you do that, more people find out about us. And like John C. Reilly was saying, that way that helps us out and we don't languish in obscurity. You can also hear the show on YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Stitcher, Podomatic, Mixcloud, Spreaker, Player FM, and Ameristream Live. And the lovely Amanda is on the front page of Ameristream Live. So lovely. I'm also on the air in Connecticut, weekdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. There's a link to where to listen to that show. And you can also share this show with your friends on Facebook, like the Facebook page. And when I post it with a, new show, you can share it with your friends and more people find out about us. It's wicked. There's also the Twitter, where you can find us on the Twitter and the tweets. Retweet those tweets and more people find out about us that way. There's also links to where to find us on Instagram, Yelp, Tumblr, and I went total indie podcast there for a second. You can also help this show out with the link to Amazon. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, go through mikesdailypodcast.com, click on the link, and that helps us out too. We get some support from that. There's the blog, the Daily Podcast picture, and all my past interviews too are at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Wow, Schatz, wow.
When you have a German mom and she calls you Schatz, she will sometimes say, if you say something surprising, she'll go, wow, Schatz, wow. And that's what I heard a lot from my mom. When I told her something very surprising, here's some interesting, surprising stories for you here on the segment, Wow, Schatz, wow.
Man came by to hook up my cable TV. We settled in for the night, my baby and me. We switched round and round till 57 There was 57 channels and nothing on. 57
Well, there's a lot more channels than that now, but there's still nothing on. Careful! What you watch on movie night might just turn your weight loss plan into a fantasy. This according to Men's Health magazine. Action films or TV shows may cause you to overeat, say Cornell University researchers study participants who watched a loud, high-intensity Michael Bay movie, ate nearly twice as much food by weight and 65% more calories than those who watched the interview show Charlie Rose. A fast-paced film may distract you, causing you to eat more than you should, says study author Honor Tal, who's a PhD. Here's a smart snacking trick from Tal. Use the distraction to switch from chips to carrots or any healthy food you might otherwise avoid. Eating in front of exploding cars and intense chases may help you swallow the medicine more easily, says Tal. That's 90s pop singer Vitamin C, the redhead. What the hell ever happened to her? She became an actress, didn't she? Well, speaking of vitamins, or as the British say, vitamins, that's so funny. During World War II, military doctors understood that armies living on canned, processed rations for months at a time and with limited access to fresh fruits and vegetables were especially vulnerable to nutrient deficiency diseases. So, synthetic vitamins were created by using the newly developed technology of making plastic from inexpensive and widely available petroleum. They succeeded in isolating, fermenting, and synthesizing single nutrient vitamins. This according to Extraordinary Health magazine. But what we've been missing in multivitamins is nutrients from real, honest food, full of essential cofactors that help the body to absorb, process, and utilize vitamins and minerals. The industry spent the next 2 decades on a strange path of invention. Rather than starting with real food and working all the way down to a tablet, scientists reverse engineered nature, starting with synthetic vitamins and finding a way to make them more like real food. Enter Dr. Andrei Andy Székely, a Hungarian pharmacist who was the first scientist to crack the code by combining a synthesized vitamin with a plant in which it could grow, yeast, and introducing growth agents, sugars, as well as specific peptides. Andy created what may be the first cultured whole food vitamin. The new vitamin was more affordable, more convenient, and more importantly, more concentrated than the vitamin C in an orange, for example, and it contained some of the food factors that were present in that orange. All of today's leading whole food vitamin companies use cultured or grown whole food nutrients. Whether it's grown, cultured, or complex, all whole food vitamins begin with an isolated nutrient. Wait, I just realized that vitamin C video for Smile, if you watch it, you get to see the old Virgin Mega store that used to be on the Sunset Strip, which is long gone now. It was a huge, awesome CD store that had like a little DJ booth. And anyway, I'm a nerd.
Feels like I'm riding on a tidal wave. Feels like I'm swimming in
Champagne. Let's say you're having a celebration, you're about to pop open some champagne. You'll want the cork to shoot high enough to add flair to the festivities and not misfire and end up with a limp launch. Thankfully, thanks to the great folks at Men's Health magazine, they've come up with the equation to ensure the right amount of bang for your bubbly. Just plug in the distance you want the cork to travel within limits, and then let the chilled bottle sit at room temperature for the time indicated. Their chart goes something like this. When you just shoot it right out of the fridge, it'll go 34 feet. If you let it warm up for 70 minutes, it'll shoot 54 feet. And if you let it warm up for 130 minutes, it'll shoot 70 feet. Allowing your dom to warm up a few degrees will wow your guests in another way too. French research found that champagne served only moderately chilled may be measurably more delicious than bubbly poured at a colder level merely a few minutes out of the fridge. That's because warmer temperatures stimulate more effervescence, and extra fizz means extra flavor, as the bursting bubbles inside the glass give champagne more body and aroma. According to a study published in the Journal of Food Engineering, as a chilled bottle of champagne starts to warm up, the pressure inside the vessel intensifies. In geek speak, this is what's known as adiabatic reaction. Translation: the warmer the bottle, the greater the interior pressure for shooting the cork. Now, all bottles in this study were held aloft at 45 degrees, and that angle provides the optimum height and hang time to achieve maximum trajectory without spilling. So consider 130 minutes of warming time. That's how long refrigerator chilled champagne takes to reach 64 degrees Fahrenheit and yield 14% more bubbles, and a cork distance of 70 feet. That is Eric Heatherly. And this is Mike Matthews going outside of Cafe Anyway, here at the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Recently, in fact, after I interviewed Dee Edward and Jenna Lavoie in the city there in the Lower Haight in San Francisco, I then proceeded to walk up through Haight and what's the other place? Haight and Love. Up through there, all the way to Golden Gate Park, and walked around Golden Gate Park, and I found this massive fern gully. And then there were little kids shows that popped up everywhere. No, it's like a garden that's all ferns. And so that would be a picture of me in front of one of the ferns. Haight and Ashbury. Oh my God, it is weird, that place. Because they've poured a lot of money into it to kind of make it look nicer. But at the same time, you've got like all the people that don't have any homes. They're like living on the sidewalks there, and there's some interesting stuff going on. Still, even in 2015, not in Golden Gate Park, Haight, Ashbury. Right. And you can see that picture now at mikesdailypodcast.com. Mike Matthews, I want to go there sometime and like buy a bunch of hippie clothes. Yeah. Okay, we'll have fun with that. I think that's another thing is people go down there and that they expect to see that. They expect to see the dirt, the craziness. That's what I expect to see. Also, when I come to Cafe Anyway, I expect to see the dirt. I try to clean as much as I can here. Dang it. But we're outside, so you have to expect the dirt. And Floyd the Floorman cleans up a lot anyway. That's right, Mike. I clean the floors because I'm Floyd the Floorman. But I'm afraid of ammonia. Floyd, you can't be afraid of ammonia if you're a floor man. If you're cleaning the floor, it's sort of necessary. Yeah, I'm afraid of mops. You need mops too when you're cleaning floors. And water and buckets. You can't be afraid of water. You need water. You're a human. And like 85% of your 75, something like that, of your body is water. Mike, I really enjoy how when you throw a fact out, you often have to correct yourself. And I like the fact that you didn't blow up my microphone that time, because that was the last one I had. You're welcome, Mike. Oh, darn. The next show... Here, I'll talk into this microphone that we had hiding in the bushes. In this, what looked like a flower was really a microphone. Yeah. Thanks, CIA, for helping us out with that. Edward Snowden told me all about you. What were we saying? Vitamin C was hot. Virgin megastores were awesome. Eating dinner while watching Kevin Bacon and the Following is a good idea. Oh, that's right. Next show, I'm going to have on an artist who's going to make my heartbeat go crazy up, because she's a very beautiful and talented musician and bass player extraordinaire. Angeline Saris is going to be on the show and the segment Into an Interview. Plus, we'll hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Oh, and that's nice. At the end of the show, I won't accidentally be cut off this time by Ariel. And the Ariel end of show tag is what we call this thing that's about to play. And Chely, I'm really glad that the Disgruntled Fiddle Player and Valentino patched things up. They did what?
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!